Hi everyone, welcome back. So we're out in the veg garden today. We're coming up to the end of spring now, so it's just past mid-May. Everything's really growing away now. Grass is growing, that's for sure. Everything else doing well. So I just wanted to give you a quick run around everything that I've got growing here in late spring in the veg garden. It's a bit of an impromptu video, so I haven't got my microphone and I haven't got my tripod, but never mind. I'll do as best I can, but everything's doing well. So quick update, or so quick, probably end up being long, but never mind. Anyway, hope you enjoy, guys. And the elephant garlic that we've been growing. So I've got a couple of videos with these in, from when I planted the corms and up until when I planted them in here. So I think we ended up with 11. That one there was the tiny little one, and that's really grown. So they seem to be enjoying the sun and the rain that we've been having. And my new little strawberry bed looks like it's going to be quite productive this year. Plenty of flowers on there. I did take a few of the black flowers off. If you see the middle goes black, that just means the frost killed the flower inside. So you might as well take them off because they won't produce strawberries if they've got black eyes. And the peas that I planted in one of my previous videos are doing well. And my next 2 rows of peas, I think most of them have been eaten by something. I can see a couple here and there. There's one there. And one over there. Bunch of little weed seedlings coming up there. So you can see a lot of the beetroot that I sowed is coming up. All these ones here with the red stems, these are all beetroot. I did a whole little patch here. So the majority of them have come up. And my first row of carrots, which I sowed about 3 weeks ago, have started to come up. Looks like we've got almost a complete row. So I won't bother thinning them. And all my trees and bushes, various different shrubs and stuff, are all doing really well. All started growing really nicely now. So I'll just pick out a few and show you. So the one up front here is a lavender, which was almost dead, which has really sprung back to life now. And these here are my seed sown birch trees. I've been calling these Chinese red birch, but I've now managed to identify the tree that they come from, and it is in fact a paper birch, so quite a bit rarer than a silver birch. So they should be nice. They're doing really well in here. At some point I will have to separate them out of there, but I didn't have enough space for them, so I just bunged them all in there. And this one here is one of them rowan trees, which you see the red berries on, which is really good for the birds and wildlife. They're actually called mountain ash. This here was a cherry, which was grown from a seedling. And various other different types of trees. Got flowering currant bush here. This is not the edible kind, this is the one that produces the really nice flowers. I think it's called Prince of something. I do know the variety, but not offhand. But these were cuttings off of one of my clients. They let me take some cuttings from their currant, flower and currant bush. And these 10 pots down the middle here are all seed sown silver birch, and some of them are paper birch as well. I think you can just tell the difference between the leaves, ever so slightly different. So the silver birch are more shield shaped, and the paper birch are a bit more elongated and a bit more serrated. So you can tell the difference, but it's quite difficult to. These 8 here are willow trees. These were just little sticks that I stuck in last year. Got some lovely roots on them now. And various other trees. These are spruce trees, like the Christmas trees. All this is new growth. There's nice green stuff on the end here. And that there is a Scots pine. All these new candles. These are called candles. This will form the new branch. So all these have shot up this year so far, 6 inches at least. This one here is a Japanese smoke tree. It's just started to leaf out, and 2 or 3 inches of growth in the past week or 2. So these grow really fast. And I'm not going to allow all these branches to grow. I'm going to select a few to keep, snip the rest off. Japanese maples in there. Nice red one there. Looks like it's doing well down there. I've stuck it in between because they like a bit of shade. So it seems to be quite enjoying it underneath the lilacs at the back there and this oak here. Various other trees. There's another one of them mountain maples, the Rowan. Much bigger one, this one. And this is a sycamore maple. This was salvaged from a garden clearance. It was part of a hedge, and I decided to keep it because it's got a really nice shape to it. Really cool looking little tree. And it's started shooting up from the bottom here as well. So these are, I believe, growing off the roots. They may be seedlings, but I don't think so. I think they're coming off the trunk or the roots. But yeah. More birch there. These were salvaged again. Not seed grown, these ones. Eucalyptus tree, which we did have in the house. But we decided to stick it outside because it wasn't doing too well in the house. See, all these bits are drying off because they like high humidity. But there is new growth. The various bits of new growth on it. So that'll spring back. They're quite tough. And that one there, that beast in that huge pot, is my Royal Empress tree, which I started from seed. That must be about 6 years old now. And it's had various chops there, and I want to keep it smaller, but it has huge leaves on it, and they're normally quite late to come out, so it's only just started. But these leaves will get like a dinner plate sort of size on a good year. Last year they were a bit smaller. It depends on the weather. So that's just a quick update there on my little tree nursery being guarded by Jasper cat. So in this bed we've got garlic and leeks on this side, and 3 different varieties of onion in here. There's around about 100 onion sets in there. I've got red, white onions and a Chinese variety. And the leeks which I put in, which were from beginning of last year, which I've put in a compost and they carried on growing, have really started thickening up now. So I'll take you over there and show you them quickly. So these are the leeks that I salvaged from my compost bin. And I didn't expect too much from them. They looked almost dead, but they've all sprung back to life and are looking really healthy now. So these are started from seed last year, beginning of last year, and I didn't have anywhere to put them, didn't get around to it, so I bunged them in the compost heap, and they just carried on growing in a little pot until I fished them out about 2 months ago now, and just planted them in here, and they're doing really well. So a surprise harvest of leeks soon, hopefully. So everything in my fruit area is doing well. So I've got all sorts in here. Planters full of strawberries, blueberries, gooseberries, windberries, pear, apple, raspberry, plum, currants down there as well. So I'll just pick a couple of things and show you a few bits over there. So this is a bare rooted pear tree which I picked up in pound stretcher for about £4, and to my surprise that's looking really healthy. Every single branch is alive. It's got them nice lush green leaves coming out on it, so I'm really impressed with that from pound stretcher. And my new addition apple tree that Thompson and Morgan sent me is doing well. That's Lord Lambourne, that's the variety on that. Lots of blossom on there. I don't expect to get any apples because this was a bare rooted tree planted earlier in the year as well, but you never know. And it looks like we're in for a bumper crop of currants this year. They seem to be liking it where it's slightly shaded over here in the corner. Hundreds of berries on them. Flowers have just started closing up and turning into berries. There's plenty of them on there. Maybe enough to make something with them this year. And the gooseberries doing much better this year. There is a few gooseberries dotted around. Not a huge amount, but the most I've seen so far on this bush. This bush went through a couple of years where it really suffered with sawfly. Again, I did a video on sawfly just so you can identify them. Have a look for that. So there's a fair few on here, but not a huge amount. But it's putting on some really nice growth this year, so I'm happy. Both my little fig trees, these were grown from cutting about 2 or 3 years ago now, maybe a little bit longer, but they got quite big and they're just starting to bud up, so we'll be seeing leaves on these soon. There is a few leaves at the bottom, so it's going to send out new growth from the bottom. But all these branches have survived the winter, and the leaves are just starting to form on these. So we've got another one over there. It's a little bit further behind that one. And this grapevine here, which I got given by my mum and dad. It's quite an established grapevine, so I saved it. And I thought I might have killed it, but it has got new growth now. So it's looking good. And behind it down there, that's a kiwi vine. I've had this a couple of years and not got any kiwis off it yet, but it's looking good this year. So all the leaves on that have only just started coming out as well. And my other grapevine there, that's a Chardonnay white grape, and I had a couple of grapes on it last year, but should get some more this year hopefully. It's looking good this year. I just trained it up this obelisk. kept 3 vines last year and pruned them down to pencil thickness. Anything thinner than that I chopped off. And this plant in this pot here is raspberry canes, Glengather or something like that. It's looking really good this year. See, there's plenty of little flowers starting to form on these. Each one of these will be a little cluster of raspberries, I think. And there's a fair few. And I did take off one of the shoots because I wanted to multiply the plant. So one of the shoots were just shot up this year. I pulled off, managed to get some roots with it, and I've got that in a pot in the greenhouse. Last year I left 4 canes on this. So you can see these 4 woodier ones are from last year, because the berries formed this year on last year's growth. So I'll do the same this year. I will allow 4 of these new ones to grow, and any more that grow up I'll either try and pull them out to make new plants, or I'll just snip them off. So this one here is a cherry tree. It's looking nice and healthy. They seem to like it. A little bit of dappled shade over here. And the one next to it there is a plum. And so I'll take you to the cherry tree first. I have seen a couple of little cherries. Majority of the blossoms fallen off and not formed into cherries, but there is a couple. And that's all I can expect for the first or second year on this. Until the roots have established, I won't get a very good harvest. Same with the plum. But I did see a few little plums on here. There's one there. Couple there. Couple more up here. So we might get enough plums for a little punnet of plums. And over here I've got the globe artichoke. I did have it in a pot, picked up very cheap end of last year. I decided just to pop it in the ground there. And that's now sprung back to life. It's looking really healthy. So apparently these things get huge. I've never grown them before, so I've been looking forward to seeing how that grows. And my rhubarb crown there, which I had to relocate unfortunately, so most of the stems died off. But the crown has survived and is shooting out new leaves, so you never know, may get a late harvest of rhubarb. All the potatoes that I find sprouting up are going in that bucket. There's about 6 in there so far. And these are the little seed potatoes which I had in the greenhouse. Just had them sitting out here for a few days because it's been cloudy and overcast. They seem to have loved it, and the rainwater's been collecting up in the tree, so haven't had to water them. And then beetroot over there, I think have about had it, so I'll probably dispose of them. Everything else is looking good. This is the best the vegetable garden has looked at this time of year, and I'm really happy so far. It's glorious now. We're supposed to have thunderstorms later, and it was raining this morning. This is my herb planter. Mine and my wife's herb planter. She planted most of them, not me. But they're doing really well. So we've got the chives in there, sage, rosemary, lemon balm. That's that yellow and green one there. Rosemary, all sorts of weeds and a random alpine succulent thing. This thing here that's just taking over the bed, taking over the whole thing, is a peppermint plant, so kind of regretting planting that in there, but still, it's a herb and it's edible, so if it takes over that whole thing, so be it. There's lots of parsley, which is self-seeded all over the place in here, so I'll have to dig some of that out at some point. And a random marigold, which was an extra. Didn't have room for it in the greenhouse, so. Chives doing well, they've gone to flower. Need to take harvest off them. So, I will just take you in the greenhouse real quick. Did an update on the greenhouse a little while ago, so I won't spend too long in here. I'm surprised the cat's in here, it's boiling in there. Dom. She's quite comfy down there, sunbathing. So we'll start here. These are pomegranates, which I've just repotted because I forgot about them and they got neglected and died off, but there's lots of new growth coming up, so I'm hoping they'll do well. Same similar situation with these melons here. They were neglected, forgotten about. I've just been giving them plenty of water, and I've put these stakes in. Once they've perked up a bit, I'll put them somewhere else. Try and separate them maybe, or just bung them in a big pot. So this top shelf here is mostly sunflowers. These things are growing so fast. Look at the size of them already. I only potted them on less than 2 weeks ago and they were all this sort of size. But they're doing well. So they're all giant single-headed sunflowers. These ones here are evening sun sunflowers. So we've got 100% germination on them, all except for that one in there, which was the same with the other sunflowers, strangely enough. And all my sweet corn that I sowed in here, I sowed 12. So we've got about over 50% germination, but I think there's 8 in there that I've counted so far. So that's not bad. The other ones may come up still, but we've got at least one in each cell, so that's not so bad. The tomatoes, which I potted up a couple of weeks back, seem to have perked up a lot and have actually started growing nicely now. So I left my tomatoes sowing until 14th of April, they were put in there. I did that on purpose this year because I'm fed up of having gigantic tomato plants taking up loads of room. Same with the peppers, I waited. Got sweet peppers and jalapeno chili peppers, but they're all doing well. Starting to put on some growth now. And all the seeds that are sown in here, canary melons, you can see a couple of them coming up. There is one just starting in that tub as well. And the watermelons, you can see at least one. There's one there and nothing in the back one. These little tiny things are just weeds from them cottony seed things that are blowing around everywhere. And this lot here are cucumbers. Vorg something or other, from Lidl, German variety I think. But they're nice little crunchy, short, dumpy cucumbers. So I've put a fair few of them in. I'm going to dot them around, give a few away. It's funny how they germinate at different times. It's probably to do with the temperatures. Obviously that one in the middle looks like it's drying out quicker, so it probably gets warmer. And this first 20 pots are 2 different varieties of beetroot. And they've all come up except for one cell at the back there, which is empty. And any that had more than 2 I've taken out and left a maximum of 2. So there's either 1 or 2 in each of these cells. And I've got 4 different types of tomato here. So we've got a beefsteak type, Costaluto Fiorentino, Italian beefsteak, Tigerella, which is a normal sized stripy tomato, red cherry, which obviously is a red cherry type of tomato, Rome of the F is a nice little plum tomato. So I put 2 seeds in each cell, and we've got 100% in there. Well, not 100% germination, but each of the cells has something in it, so that's good. Once they've grown a little bit more, I'll come in along and just leave one in and just pinch them off. I'll just show you what I'll do quickly. I'll just take one of the weaker ones out of somewhere and just literally just don't pull it out, just pinch it off. Okay, the root on that one came out anyway, but yeah, if you do just pull them, there's a slight chance you can damage the roots. So normally I just kind of pinch them and just pull the top off. So that's that. All these marigolds, which are sowed from seed. I did these in 2 of these little trays like these, and then I separated them out, kept the best 24, and they're doing really well. They're in a sandy sand, 50% sand, 50% compost, and they're loving it. And this lot here is all different flower seeds. Nothing from the lavenders yet. There's a few other ones here. I'm not going to go through them all, but we've got relatively good germination. A little bit patchy, not so bad. And my Japanese maples seedlings are all looking good. And I've got a few other bits and bobs down here. Raspberry cane there, which I separated off. And that's okay, everyone. So we're done with the update now. Sorry about the abrupt cut off there at the end. The phone overheated because I was in the greenhouse and it's boiling in there. And if the phone gets too hot, it just cuts off and you can't use it for a while. So anyway, I think I was pretty much done anyway in there. I was just showing you the raspberry cane at the end. The new one which I pulled off of my plant. Anyway, thanks so much guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. Any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so yet. See you on the next one guys.